Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to share a quick and easy DIY on a stovetop cover, also known as a noodle board. These look fairly easy to make, so I decided to give it a shot for myself and make one for my mom's stove, and I decided to film it just in case it turned out. I wasn't totally sure, but I'm happy with the end result, so today I will share with you exactly how I did it. So here I have 8 1x4 boards. I got Lowe's to cut them for me, and I'll put the exact measurements down below so that you can reference back, but I have 6 29-inch boards and 2 22-inch boards. So because this was my first time making a noodle board, there were mistakes made. The first mistake was staining my boards before I assembled my noodle board. I should have assembled and then stained because we're going to be using wood glue, and it just doesn't adhere as well as it does to raw wood. So the next time I make one, I'll make sure to assemble it first. Also, there are many options when it comes to painting your noodle board. You can go dark, you can go light, you can do a pop of color. The possibilities are endless, but I wanted mine to be more on the rustic side. So to achieve this look, I first stained my wood, and then we're going to go back and whitewash it. I'm using a dark walnut stain, but any kind of dark stain will work. So now that the stain is dry, I can assemble my noodle board. I've lined up my 6 29-inch boards, and then I'm taking and placing my 2 22-inch boards on both ends. And then we'll use a wood glue to hold those in place until we get them screwed in. Remember to do this before you stain so that your wood glue will adhere. So now we can turn it over and begin placing in the screws. I'm doing 1 screw into each board on both sides, and these are wood screws, and they're 1.25 inches in length. It's now time to begin whitewashing. I have some fine grit sandpaper, and I'm just going over the entire noodle board, and this will ensure that the paint will stick to the board. So as I said earlier, I'm whitewashing. This is also known as the dry brush method, and that's where you put just a dab of paint onto your brush, and then you just lightly brush it across your surface, and this will give you the worn look without having to go back and sand it, and it turns out really beautiful. You can see I went a little too heavy in places, but that's okay because you can easily go back and sand it to lighten it up. And I also love the dry brush method because the paint literally dries as you're painting. You could go ahead now and seal your board, add on your hardware, and be done, but I wanted to add a design to mine. So what I did is I created a vinyl stencil with my Cricut. I just found an SVG file I liked on Etsy. They're usually only a couple of dollars. So I just had my Cricut to cut it for me, and then I did a reverse weed on it so that it would be a stencil. I'm not totally sure how well vinyl would hold up on this, so I wanted to go this route instead. And then I just used transfer tape to help me get it onto my board, and I just pressed it down really good so that I could peel my transfer tape up without bringing the vinyl with it. I'm going to use a bottle of this Apple Barrel craft paint. You can get it from Walmart for around 50 cents. And then I'm going to use a paint dabber and then dab it onto my design. So now I can begin pulling up my vinyl and I'll be left with my design. I wanted to do this while it was wet because I was afraid if I let it dry that it may pull up the paint with it. So I had a little bit of bleeding in some areas, but I don't know if that's because I didn't press it down well in those areas or if it's because my paint was wet when I pulled it up. Either way, I was able to go back with a Q-tip and clean up the areas. And there's one area at the top that I couldn't clean up perfectly, but it was fine. I think it added to the rustic vibe. I'm gonna go ahead and seal my board now, but a little tip, don't use polyurethane like I did. use a spray polyacrylic. I didn't realize it until after, but polyurethane can sometimes yellow, so make sure to seal it with polyacrylic instead. The very last thing I'm doing is adding on my hardware, and it will be complete. I love how this noodle board turned out. I shared it on Facebook and Instagram, and I had a few wanting to buy one, but I just don't have the time to make them and sell them right now, but I am able to share how I did it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a fun project to do, and my mom loved it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.